It is obvious at this point that Cheryl Reeve needs to be fired as soon as possible. And the selection committee either needs to be fired as well, or they need to reevaluate their process on how to put a roster together for the Olympics. Because if you think about it, if France makes that three to send it to overtime, the crowd is going crazy and France is probably going to win that game. If Maureen Johannes has shot the ball better, let's say she made a couple more threes, she was 1 of 8. Who knows what would have happened in that game? They probably would have beaten Team USA. You look at that shot by Asia Wilson where the ball hit the rim, it bounced to the top of the backboard and came back in for a made field goal. That was pretty lucky in my opinion. She got the bounce. But again, this game was tight. France was up 35-25. There was like 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. If France extends that game to 15, 20 points, this game is over. Thank God Kelsey Plum showed up at the right time because it was looking like France was going to pull away and blow Team USA out. That's how close it was for Team USA. They're very fortunate that they won this game. And then you have a Chelsea Gray who can't move, who's still getting over her foot injury from the WNBA finals from last year. Yet the selection committee thought it was best to bring her on this team when she was clearly still injured. Imagine if that was Steph Curry, where he was hobbling on one leg, he can't shoot, he can't move well, and he's out there playing for the Olympic team. The amount of scrutiny that Steve Kerr would have received from his fans would have been crazy. And that's the same energy that Cheryl Reeve in this selection committee needs to receive right now, because this was awful. You kept Gray out there when the reality is you should have brought her out sooner and brought in Sabrina to at least have some type of playmaking out there. I know they don't have a really good backup point guard because they thought, you know what, we're just going to cater to the crowd. We're going to make sure we bring the most popular players to the Olympics, when that was just a dumb move to begin with. But at least you have Sabrina out there who can move, and it was a ugly game. They had no offense going. They had no flow. They were lucky that France did not extend that game, because I'm telling you right now, if France went up at least 15 points with that home crowd, the game would have been finished. Stewart wasn't giving you anything. Asia Wilson, yes, she did her part. But if Kelsey Plum doesn't make those shots, I don't know if they come back in that game. I thought Copper was solid. Thank God they played Copper over Diana Taurasi. But why was Copper getting a DMP during this Olympic run? It didn't make any sense. You should have had her out there earlier during the Olympic run. Another weird thing is you had Alyssa Thomas on the bench, who was your third best option. She can also play make for your team as well. So you just made things hard for your team today. It was obvious. And at this point, Caitlin Clark should have been playing, because with her pace and her ability to get to the rim, she would have created so many more opportunities for Stewart and Asia Wilson. There's no doubt about that. And then when you look at the rest of this roster, I think Angel Reese should have been on this team because she has a motor that doesn't stop. She's going to crash the glass. She's going to get a lot of rebounds and a lot of putbacks and create a lot of opportunities for your team to score. I just think overall, the selection committee cannot be pleased with this result, because if they run it back with the same mentality of, okay, we're going to play this game of favoritism where if you're not in the crowd, if you're not part of our group, then you're not invited. If you do that again, they might lose the gold medal next time. Because the reality is this France team will be back in 2028. And they know, okay, we can hang with this team and we can beat them. And if you're the selection committee for Team USA, you cannot be comfortable. You have to treat just like the men's team who lost in 2004. They came back in 2008 with a new focus. They wanted to make sure they bring the best roster with a team well constructed. And when you look at this team for the women's side, it's a B team. They're not that good to me. Without Wilson and without Stewart, they're lost. They're not going to the gold medal game. They're probably not even get out of the group stage. So when you sit down, you look at this situation, don't be comfortable, because if they take the same approach where they're looking at the roster going, okay, let's bring players in who are the most popular. Let's make sure we're catering to them and pleasing them. And you go out there and try to beat France again, it might not end well for you guys. Also, you need to market your players better. Angel Reese should have been on this team. Caitlin Clark should have been on this team as well. Why? Because you want to market these women. You want people caring about your product. And again, it's just another example why the WNBA fails to market their stars. They don't do a good job at this yet. They have to get better. So the selection committee needs to be honest with themselves and evaluate this properly. You escaped. You barely won. You won the game by 3 inches. If Gabby Williams makes that game-time three-point shot, They go to overtime. Who knows what happens with that home crowd? If Marie Johannes makes a couple of shots today, France is probably win this game. If France extends that lead past 10 points, this game is probably over. So it's just obvious to me that this roster was poorly constructed. And yeah, they got the gold medal. I'm happy that the USA won again. But at the same time, there needs to be some evaluation going on when it comes to putting a roster together. Have 16 or 17 women competing for 12 spots. Don't pick players based on how long they've been in the league. Make sure you're marketing your young players as well. Don't pick a player based on their celebrity status. Oh, they're part of this clique, so they should come to the games. If you're not part of that clique, you're not invited. That's not a good look. If you have a popular, I should say, a superstar rookie who's drawing attention, fans are talking about her. They want to see her play in 2028. Invite her to the games. You can still have your vets. You can still have your other best players, but make sure you're marketing your product the right way. And on top of that, make sure it's a roster well constructed. If you're going based off, oh, well, you know what? They're a part of this cool crowd. And if you're not part of it, well, you're just a loser. That is not going to end very well because it's going to catch up to them. You don't see this from the selection committee from the NBA. They bring out their best roster. They also make sure they bring in guys who are marketable, like an Anthony Edwards. He's probably going to be the face of the NBA. So they want him out in the Olympics so more fans are watching him. They're trying to expand his market. They understand from a business perspective, hey, yes, let's bring our best roster, but let's also make sure we're marketing our young guys as well. So the WNBA needs to do a better job at this and make sure they put a roster together that makes sense. The reality is this: Cheryl Reeve needs to go. The selection committee needs to figure out how to put a better roster together. If you have Caitlin Clark, Era Atkins, and Angel Reese, this game is not close today. They are blowing them off the court because of the talent you have. And on top of that, you're marketing Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark at the same time. You're doing your league a service. So hopefully they learned the lesson. And I think it could be a good thing because you can't be satisfied. You have to make sure you get better because eventually the competition is going to catch up for the women's side of things. This is going to happen, especially if the WNBA continues to grow with Caitlin Clark leading the way. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Cheryl Reeve being fired from Team USA. Should that happen, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.